The second I sank into the private jet my adoptive mom had set up for me, I checked my phone and boom, dozens of missed calls from Chloe and a crazy flood of unread iMessages. The press conference starts in half an hour. Ethan, where are you? Don't say I didn't warn you. If you don't show up today, I'll never let you lay a single finger on me again. Years ago, even one tiny frown from her would have had me stressed out the whole damn day. But now, my heart was dead calm, cold, steady, almost absurdly chill. I powered off the phone, pulled out the SIM card, and tossed it like it meant nothing. The jet started taxiing, engines roaring, the thrust shoving me back into my seat. Through the window, the city I'd called home for 4 years kept shrinking fast. I shut my eyes. Goodbye, Chloe. Goodbye, my biological parents. For years ago, our lives were never supposed to cross. From today on, we'd have absolutely nothing to do with each other ever again. Period. Meanwhile, at the press conference, after firing off yet another iMessage that got zero response, Chloe finally snapped and dialed my number again. Unlike the earlier calls that rang forever, this time a cold, automated voice answered. We're sorry. The number you have dialed has been turned off. Turned off? Chloe's face went dark instantly. Her parents, my biological parents, leaned closer. Chloe, did you get a hold of Ethan? Chloe just shook her head. My father's expression turned sour, and my mother looked so wrecked she started crying. All those reporters are waiting outside. If he doesn't show up, they'll be even more convinced Julian is an imposter and that we've been wronged. I can't believe Ethan. Julian's in such a critical situation, and his own brother won't even say one word to help. What did I do in a past life to deserve such a selfish son? My father wrapped an arm around her. Don't worry. Ethan may have grown up with that questionable family and has zero class, but his feelings for Chloe are real. If Chloe tells him to be here, he wouldn't dare refuse. He sounded so confident, but Chloe froze. A few days ago, she would have agreed without hesitation. She would have bet everything that I'd come running for her. But remembering how cold I'd been lately, how I even brushed off her advances that morning, Chloe felt something twist in her chest. A weird anxiety crept in. I'll go find him, she said, starting to stand. Right then, her assistant rushed in. Ms. Hayes, your husband, Ethan, has arrived. Chloe's eyes lit up and she strode out in her heels, letting out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. For a split second, she couldn't tell if she was relieved because I could clear Julian's name or because me showing up meant I still cared. But when she reached the doorway, I wasn't there. Instead, a sharp-looking man in a suit stood waiting. Ms. Hayes, he said politely. I am Ethan's attorney. I'm here to represent him at the press conference. Chloe's expression turned icy. Where is Ethan? The lawyer smiled calmly. Mr. Miller is unavailable. Unavailable. She frowned. Is he sick? Now that she thought about it, my face had looked unusually pale earlier. She was about to press him when my biological parents stepped out. Seeing I hadn't shown up myself, their faces went grim. What is Ethan thinking? Sending a lawyer? Is he trying to mess this up on purpose? Enough. Let the lawyer clarify things. Otherwise the media will have a field day. At that moment, they all assumed I'd sent a lawyer to confirm Julian was my biological brother. The attorney walked to the podium. Good morning. I am Mr. Davis, Ethan Miller's legal counsel. No wasting time. I am here to make 2 announcements on his behalf. First, Mr. Miller is formally severing all ties with the Miller family. From today forward, he and the Millers will have no further association. The room exploded. Severing ties? Didn't that confirm the rumor that the true heir was forced out while the imposter was favored? My biological parents went pale with rage. Mr. Davis continued. Second, Mr. Miller has initiated legal proceedings to file for divorce from Ms. Chloe Hayes. Chloe's head snapped up. Divorcing her? Before she could process it, reporters started shouting. Ms. Hayes, is your divorce related to Julian Miller? Wasn't stealing Ethan's place as heir enough? Did you also steal his wife? Security rushed in, shielding Chloe and the others, pushing them out through the chaos. At that exact moment, my plane was landing in Milan. As I stepped out of the VIP terminal, several hundred men in black suits stood in 2 perfect rows. In perfect sync, they boomed, "Welcome home, sir." My adoptive parents stepped forward and hugged me. Ethan, my adoptive father said excitedly, "You came back on such short notice. Otherwise, I would have booked every public square in Europe to celebrate." Dad, you're doing too much, I said. That dramatic streak of his was exactly why I'd avoided having them visit me in the States all these years. Still, even while I teased him, I couldn't stop smiling. It felt damn good to be cared for like this. My adoptive mom, eyes shining with tears, pulled me into a tight hug. Whatever happened, you're home now. That's all that matters. Then she looked me over, frowning. It's only been a few years. How did you get so thin? What on earth did the Millers and Chloe do to you? A dangerous glint flashed in her eyes. I hadn't told her the details, but she'd already sent people to dig up exactly how they treated her son. The thought alone made her furious. Son, are you sure you don't want your father and me to settle the score? Whether it's the Hayes family or the Millers, we can make them pay with a snap. I knew she wasn't bluffing. Still, I shook my head. No need. They're strangers to me now. I'd already wasted 4 years of my life on them. I wasn't wasting another second. I wrapped an arm around her. Mom, I'm craving your pasta. Let's go home. I got into the car first. Once I was out of earshot, my father asked quietly, Are we really letting the Millers and Chloe get away with this? My mother laughed coldly. Of course not. After what they did to Ethan. Never. Darling, start the preparations. Her face turned glacial. In 1 month, we're taking Ethan back to the States ourselves. I'll make every single one of them pay. Back in Chicago, the press conference had ended in total chaos. As they were leaving, a pale Julian grabbed Chloe's hand. Chloe, Ethan's trying to ruin me. Now everyone knows I'm not the real heir. I'm going to lose my home. Chloe frowned, distracted. The Millers have always treated you like their son. But I'm not their son, Julian sobbed. I want a real family, but my birth parents abandoned me. You're the only person I can truly love. Chloe looked down and saw him staring at her with intense emotion. Chloe, you've loved me all these years. The only thing stopping us was your marriage to Ethan. Now that he filed for divorce, can we finally be together? He pulled her into an embrace and leaned in to kiss her. But Chloe went stiff. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times. Whenever she and I had tried, she pictured Julian instead. Yet now, as his lips touched hers, she felt absolutely nothing. Instead, my image flashed in her mind. My sun-kissed skin. My solid chest. She shoved him away suddenly. Julian stared at her, stunned. Who said Ethan and I are divorced? She said coldly. Until I sign those papers, he is still my husband. Without another word, she stepped out of the car, leaving Julian sitting there, face drained of color. Chloe rushed home. Ethan, get out here, she screamed. Explain this divorce. Silence. The house didn't answer back. He's not back yet, someone said. Chloe frowned and found the driver. Did Ethan come home after leaving the club this morning? The driver looked confused. No, ma'am. He went to the airport. Chloe froze, color draining from her face. The airport? For what? I don't know, ma'am. I thought you knew. Now that I think about it, he took a call in the car. Said something about going home. Chloe stood still. The mom I'd spoken to clearly wasn't my biological mother. That meant it had to be my adoptive mom. Her eyes widened. I had gone back to Italy. She ran upstairs to my study. Empty. My passport and luggage were gone. Her face turned white. I wasn't just divorcing her. I was leaving the country. A knot tightened in her chest. She turned to her assistant. Get to the airport. Prep the private jet. I'm going to Italy. As arrangements were being made, her mother called. Chloe, where are you? Julian tried to kill himself. Chloe's hand froze around the phone. The jet will take time anyway, she told her assistant. Have it ready. I'll be there in an hour. Understood. Which city in Italy should I file the flight plan for? Chloe stopped cold. She knew my adoptive parents were in Italy, but she had no idea where. I might have mentioned it before, but she'd never paid attention. Frustration hit hard. Investigate all of today's flights to Italy. Find out which city Ethan flew to. When Chloe reached the hospital, Julian was hysterical. You should have just let me die. Everyone knows I'm an imposter now. So what's even the damn point of being alive? The old Chloe would have probably found his little meltdown kinda cute. But today, she was straight up irritated. And for some weird reason, her mind drifted to me. No matter how badly I got screwed over, I always handled it quietly, never making a scene, never dumping my mess on anyone else. That thought hit her chest like a punch. As she walked into the room, she heard my father's pissed-off voice. What the hell is Ethan trying to pull? A divorce, cutting ties. Now everyone thinks we're the villains who tormented him. Maybe that was his plan all along. My mother sneered. To make everyone think we abused him. He's so young, but his heart is so malicious, utterly shameless. If you hadn't heard it yourself, you'd never believe a mother could talk about her own son like that. My parents looked up and saw Chloe. Chloe, did you find Ethan? If you did, tell him to get over here right now and get on his knees to apologize to Julian. Chloe's frustration kept building. He went back to Italy. What? My parents were stunned. My mother recovered first. He went back to them? That ungrateful brat. Were his real parents. Why would he go back to those paupers? My father just waved it off. Let him go. He'll come crawling back in a few days. I refused to believe he'd give up his position as the Miller heir for that poor couple. Really? Chloe frowned. But he's filed for divorce. Just saying the word made her chest tighten. To her shock, my parents actually laughed. Don't be silly, Chloe. You don't really think he wants a divorce, do you? It's obviously just some manipulative move. Him playing hard to get. Before Chloe could say anything, her assistant walked in. Ms. Hayes, I've checked. His name wasn't on the passenger list for any commercial flight to Italy today. My mother scoffed. See? I told you this whole divorce and Italy nonsense is just an act. Her voice dripped with contempt. Beside them, Chloe quietly let out a breath. Thank God he hadn't left. But if he was still here, then where the hell was he? Unease crept up her spine. She was about to go look for me when her father's phone rang. What? He answered, and his face instantly went pale. Stellar Group is terminating all of our contracts. Chloe froze mid-step. Her father hung up and looked at her, panic written all over his face. This is a disaster, Chloe. Stellar just terminated all of our contracts, and all of the Hayes family's contracts too. Chloe's expression changed completely. Stellar Group was a massive conglomerate. For the past few years, more than half of both the Miller and Hayes family businesses depended on partnerships with Stellar. If they pulled out, it could mean bankruptcy. Total wipeout. For the next few days, Chloe was drowning in work, trying to deal with the fallout from Stellar while also searching everywhere for me. She had assumed I was just throwing a tantrum and would stroll back in after a few days. But days turned into a week, and I was still gone. She called her assistant again. Are you absolutely certain Ethan didn't go to Italy? I've checked every commercial flight, the assistant confirmed. His name isn't on any of them. There was one private flight, but the passenger manifest is sealed. Chloe paused. Private jet. The Millers would never let me use theirs. And her own jet hadn't moved. So it couldn't have been me. Still, that nagging feeling wouldn't go away. She was even thinking about flying to Italy herself when her father called again. Chloe, Mr. Lockwood himself is coming to Chicago in 2 days with his wife and son. This is our chance. The Lockwood family was one of the wealthiest families in Europe. Chloe's own research showed that the Lockwood fortune was the financial backbone behind the entire Stellar Group. She had tried again and again to get a meeting with Stellar's top executives and failed every single time. A direct visit from the Lockwoods? That was a golden opportunity. So she temporarily dropped her plan to search for me. 3 days later, at the grandest hotel in downtown Chicago, the Lockwoods were hosting a gala. It felt like every powerful figure in the country showed up. Julian attended as Chloe's date, with my parents tagging along. As they stepped out of the car, they stared at the endless line of luxury vehicles like kids at a candy store. Chloe's friends were there too. Wow, the Lockwoods really don't do things halfway. This is insane. I heard they brought their son this time. The sole Lockwood heir. The ultimate bachelor. I can't wait to see him. As everyone buzzed about the Lockwood heir, Chloe turned and saw a familiar blonde woman walking toward her. The woman smiled. Ms. Hayes, we meet again. Chloe's face froze. What are you doing here? It was the woman she had seen me with. The woman handed her a business card. Our last meeting was rather abrupt. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself properly. My name is Isabella Frost. I'm a senior manager at Stellar Group. I believe we have some divestment details to discuss. My father quickly cut in. Chloe, you know someone from Stellar? Chloe's face darkened. I saw her with Ethan. My parents were completely floored. They never imagined I could be connected to someone as important as a senior manager from Stellar. Then my father's eyes widened. Wait a minute, Miss Frost. Your sudden decision to terminate our contracts, it doesn't have anything to do with Ethan, does it? Isabella raised an eyebrow. Before she could speak, my father rushed on. Miss Frost, I don't know what lies that ungrateful son of mine has been feeding you, but please don't believe a word. He's just jealous of his brother and throwing some childish tantrum. The more he talked, the more convinced he became. Their partnership with Stellar had always been long and profitable. Stellar had always been generous. Pulling out this suddenly made zero sense. Unless I had a close connection with their management. Then it all clicked in his head. I must have trashed the Miller and Hayes businesses after cutting ties, convincing Stellar to back out. The thought made him furious. His words got nastier. That Ethan is nothing but a liability. It's bad enough he causes drama at home, but now he's messing with the business. That ungrateful brat. Just wait until I get my hands on him. I'll kill him. Isabella's face turned icy. Mr. Miller, if you say one more word of this nonsense, don't expect me to stay polite. I was planning a gradual withdrawal of our investments out of concern for your cash flow. But if you dare insult him again, I will pull everything at once and personally make sure you go bankrupt. The Millers and Chloe were stunned. She was defending me like her life depended on it. Finally, Julian sneered. Miss Frost, you're just a manager at Stellar, right? You're not the boss. Yet you'd cancel major partnerships for Ethan's sake? Aren't you afraid of angering your real superior? What exactly is your relationship with him that you'd risk your career for him? As he spoke, Julian shot Chloe a glance and saw her expression darken, just like he wanted. But Isabella just laughed. You're right. I am just a manager. Her tone sharpened. But the order to terminate your contracts came directly from the chairman of Stellar Group. Chloe's voice turned cold. Who is your chairman? I want to meet him. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Isabella said with a strange smile. Besides, Miss Hayes, you've already met our chairman. Chloe blinked. Stellar had been her company's biggest client for years, but she had only ever dealt with project leaders. This was her first time even meeting a senior manager like Isabella, let alone the actual owner. Isabella gave a mocking laugh. Don't you get it yet, Miss Hayes? The true chairman of Stellar Group is your soon-to-be ex-husband, Ethan. What? Julian burst out laughing. Are you serious? He's a nobody who grew up poor. Where would he get the money to own a company? It's obvious you two are involved, and you're making this crap up to protect him. The crowd nearby chuckled. Looks like Ethan really hit the jackpot. Imagine having a woman like that backing you. Chloe's face darkened with every word. Just then, a black custom stretch Lincoln rolled up to the curb. Its limited edition design stood out even among all the high-end cars. Everyone went quiet. The door opened, and a man in a black suit stepped out. Someone gasped. That's a custom couture suit. It hasn't even debuted on the runway yet. I've only seen it online. It must be the Lockwood Heir. Curiosity piqued. Even Chloe couldn't stop staring. The second she saw his face, she froze. Others recognized me at the same time, and my mother gasped. Ethan. It was me. After weeks of being gone. I didn't even notice Chloe and the rest of them. I was on the phone with my adoptive mother. I know, Mom. I just finished visiting the orphanage. I've changed, and I'm right at the entrance. A few days ago, my adoptive parents told me they had business in the States and wanted me to tag along. I agreed without thinking much of it, only to find out my mother had planned this whole gala. I hate these events, but I can never say no to her. I spent the day at the orphanage I grew up in, making a big donation of money and supplies. By the time I arrived, the party was about to start. I hung up and moved toward the entrance when someone blocked me. I looked up. My biological parents. Ethan, where have you been? And this car, how much did you waste renting it? Do you think our money grows on trees? They obviously assumed I used their money. The allowance they gave me couldn't possibly pay for a car like this. So in their heads, it had to be rented. That just pissed them off more. So much for severing ties. You have no problem spending our money, huh? My mother said coldly. And that suit you're wearing, Julian added. You can't even afford that. It must be a knockoff. My mother exploded. You're wearing a fake to an event like this? Are you trying to embarrass the Miller family? Get back in that car right now. She tried to shove me toward the Lincoln, but I slapped her hand away. I told you we're done. Don't touch me. I turned to leave, but a slim figure stepped in front of me. I looked up. It was Chloe. Ethan, where have you been? She demanded, her voice sharp. What are you wearing? And what is going on between you and that Isabella Frost? I met her gaze. It's none of your business. It had only been a few weeks, but when Chloe looked at me, it felt like a whole lifetime had passed. She always knew I was handsome, not in that soft, delicate way Julian was, but in a rugged, masculine kind of way. Still, the Millers never bothered to buy me decent clothes. I was stuck wearing Julian's ill-fitting hand-me-downs like some charity case. Now, I look like a damn prince. So yeah, what had happened to me? I shot her a cool glance. Just sign the divorce papers when you get a chance. My lawyer already told me she was refusing to sign. Sure, I could force it through the courts, but I didn't want to drag this mess out. It'd be way easier if she just signed and stopped playing games. Chloe's eyes widened. Ethan, why are you so determined to divorce me? Is it because I wouldn't sleep with you? She was about to blow up when one of the event staff walked over. Excuse me, everyone. Could I please see your invitations? You can continue your conversation inside. We were blocking the entrance. Noticing all the curious stares around us, Chloe forced herself to chill. Go home, she ordered coldly. I'll deal with you after this gala. I just laughed. Go home. Can't you tell I'm here for the party? At that, Chloe's friends burst out laughing. Ethan, do you even know where you are? This is the Lockwood family's gala. Exactly. Do you even know who the Lockwoods are? They're one of the wealthiest families in Europe. Even if you're involved with Isabella Frost, you think that gets you an invitation to their private gala? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Meanwhile, the staff member finished checking everyone else's invitations and turned to me. Sir, your invitation? I didn't pull one out. Chloe's friends howled with laughter. My father's face turned red with shame. Ethan, did you seriously think you could crash this party by renting a car and wearing a fake suit? Stop humiliating the Miller family and get out of here. If you have any decency, go beg Miss Frost for forgiveness. You ungrateful child. Do you really want to see our family go bankrupt? My mother reached for my arm again, but I pulled away. Your problems have nothing to do with me. And you're right. I don't have an invitation. I looked coolly at the staff member. My parents are hosting this party for me. Why would I need one? The entire area went dead silent. Then Chloe's friends exploded into hysterical laughter. A party for you? Are you trying to say you're the Lockwoods' only son? Ethan, everyone knows you're the Miller family's resident hick. We haven't seen you in a while. Were you getting treated for delusions of grandeur? Because it clearly didn't work. You're still talking crazy. They were laughing so hard they had tears in their eyes. My parents were furious. You've lost your mind, spouting such nonsense. My mother grabbed my arm roughly. Get back here now. Her grip was harsh. Chloe's expression hardened, and she moved like she was about to step in. But then, what seems to be the problem here? A commanding voice sliced through the noise. Everyone froze and looked up as a man and a woman walked out of the hotel. Someone gasped. It's Mr. and Mrs. Lockwood. The whole mood flipped instantly. My mother quickly smoothed her dress, trying to look composed. As Mrs. Lockwood walked toward us, her eyes landed on the red marks around my wrist where my mother had grabbed me. Her expression turned ice cold. What is going on? My mother opened her mouth, but Julian cut her off. It's nothing, Mrs. Lockwood. My brother's just being foolish, joking about being your son. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. My parents panicked. Even though I was the one who said it, they were terrified about what this would mean for the Miller family. Our apologies. My father jumped in quickly. Our son has some issues. Please forgive his foolishness. They watched the Lockwoods nervously, but their expressions only grew colder. How ridiculous, Mr. Lockwood said, his voice dripping with contempt. I've watched Ethan grow up. I wasn't aware he had any issues. The silence that followed was suffocating. My parents stood there stunned, like their brains had short-circuited. Before they could react, Mrs. Lockwood pulled me into a hug, gently rubbing my wrist. My darling boy, are you all right? Those words, my darling boy, left everyone frozen. Julian was the first to find his voice. Ethan, your adoptive parents are the Lockwoods? Mrs. Lockwood looked at him sharply. Adoptive? Ethan is our son. That confirmed it. Everyone went speechless, especially Chloe's friends who had been mocking me seconds ago. Their faces drained of color. Ethan, the so-called country bumpkin, was the Lockwood heir. Remembering all their earlier trash talk, they freaked out and rushed to apologize. Ethan, we were just spouting nonsense earlier. Please don't take it seriously. Be the bigger person and forgive us. I frowned, about to say I didn't care, but my mother's voice cut in, sharp as steel. Actions have consequences. Is that a concept you fail to grasp? The heavy silence returned. Her gaze was chilling. The few of you who insulted my son will bring your parents to our home to offer a formal apology. As for the rest of you, she turned her eyes toward my biological parents and Chloe. Ethan was merciful. He only terminated your contracts. I, however, am not so kind. I want you bankrupt." Mrs. Lockwood meant every word. With brutal efficiency, she dismantled the Miller and Hayes supply chains. The Miller family started teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. My biological parents began waiting outside my hotel every day, hoping to guilt-trip me with our blood connection. But the Lockwoods made sure they never got anywhere near me. Chloe, though, was tougher. She somehow managed to stabilize her company, but it took everything out of her. She looked exhausted, overwhelmed. One evening, as she left her office, she found Julian waiting. "Chloe," he said, eyes watery. "My parents haven't spoken to me in days. I didn't know what else to do, so I came to find you." With their own world collapsing, my parents clearly had no time for him anymore. Chloe sounded drained. "What do you want, Julian?" "A promise," he said anxiously. "You're not going to be like them, right? Now that you know who Ethan's family is, you're not going to choose him over me, right? When are you finalizing the divorce?" Julian was genuinely terrified. He thought he had won when I left. He never expected my adoptive family to be this powerful. Now, even his own parents wanted nothing to do with him. If Chloe left too, he'd have nothing. The word divorce made Chloe's expression change. "Ethan and I are not officially divorced. Don't talk like that." She turned to leave, but Julian's desperate voice stopped her. "So you're just like them. You only care about the Lockwood name. How could you do this to me? Did you forget the promise you made before you married him? Did you forget I've been waiting all these years? Did you forget who saved you from that ravine during the hunting trip?" His desperate questions made guilt flicker across her face. But that last sentence made her stop cold. She turned sharply. "What did you just say?" "You saved me from a ravine, Julian." Eyes red, he replied. "Yes, what's wrong with that?" Chloe's eyes narrowed. "But I passed out in a cave." Julian froze. "When Chloe went missing on that hunting trip, I was the one who went after her, ignoring the danger, dragging her out. While I was recovering, Julian stole the credit. He didn't even know what happened. He just heard the doctors mention her injuries looked like a fall, so he made up the ravine story. Now he scrambled to fix his lie. But Chloe ran a corporate empire. She wasn't dumb. "Did you encounter any wild animals that day?" she asked coldly. Julian couldn't look at her. "No," he mumbled. The last warmth in Chloe's eyes disappeared. She had been unconscious, but she remembered wolves howling, and then a gunshot. Back then, she was so wrapped up in gratitude and guilt that she never questioned the details. But thinking about it now, there was no way Julian, with his weak riding and hunting skills, could have fought off a pack of wolves. If it wasn't Julian, then who? The answer rose, cold and undeniable. She grabbed his arm. "Julian, you know I despise liars more than anything. I'm giving you one last chance. Who actually saved me?" He had never seen her like that. Under the pressure, he cracked. "It was Ethan," he shouted. "Ethan saved you." Chloe felt the strength drain from her body as she stumbled back. Meanwhile, her ever-efficient assistant overheard everything and immediately called the hunting reserve staff. After a few quick calls, she had the full story. She leaned in. "Ms. Hayes, I've confirmed it. It was indeed Mr. Miller who rescued you. And not only that, he fought off a pack of wolves to reach you. He was bitten several times." Chloe shuddered. "Bitten by wolves. No wonder I looked pale when I came back. And I hadn't said a single word. Was it because it didn't hurt? Hell no. It was because I knew. I knew that no matter how much pain I was in, I wouldn't get even a shred of sympathy from my parents or from her. That realization felt like a fist squeezing her heart. Without hesitation, she turned to leave. Julian snapped out of his daze. "Chloe, where are you going?" "So I lied, so what? Don't you love me? I'm telling you, if you go to Ethan today, don't ever come back to me." Her steps faltered. His eyes lit up, thinking he'd won. But then she spoke, voice flat and cold. "Then I guess we won't." And just like that, she walked away without looking back. Chloe was desperate to find me. She had held herself back before, wanting to stabilize her company first. She refused to look incompetent in front of the Lockwoods. But now, knowing I had saved her life, she couldn't wait another second. Too bad for her. I refused to see her. She was losing it. Her parents were losing it too. "I told you to treat Ethan better," her mother snapped. "If you had been kinder, he never would have walked away. If you two had a child, he wouldn't have even thought about leaving you." "A child?" Chloe froze. Then it hit her, and her eyes suddenly lit up. That's right. The child. How the hell did she forget? Chloe rushed to the fertility clinic and tracked down the doctor who handled our case. She didn't waste a second. Our embryos. Ethan's and mine. I want to start the implantation process now. She had just remembered the embryos we froze. It was our child. The only link tying us together. She was dead sure that if she got pregnant with our baby, I'd come back. But the doctor looked uneasy as hell. Ms. Hayes, I'm sorry. Your husband had all the embryos destroyed. What did you say? The color drained from Chloe's face. The doctor awkwardly explained what happened. It's not that I didn't want to inform you, Miss Hayes, he rushed out. But Mr. Miller bought the entire clinic. He became my boss. I had no choice but to follow his orders and keep it confidential. He kept rambling, making excuses, but Chloe wasn't even listening anymore. She staggered back as the horrifying truth dawned on her. Ethan, he'd been planning the divorce even back then. But why? Why was he so damn determined to leave her? In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and came to my hotel. She waited outside for 3 days and 3 nights, finally catching us on the day we were set to leave the country. The second my parents saw her, they moved to call security, but I raised a hand to stop them. I'll talk to her. I walked over. She looked wrecked, eyes red-rimmed, completely haggard. Ethan, she said, her voice raw. Can we please fix this? I swear I'll treat you right from now on. We can be together properly. Just, please don't leave me. She had spent days torturing herself over why I wanted a divorce. The only reason she could come up with was her refusal to be intimate, saving herself for Julian. 3 years of marriage without consummation. No man would just shrug that off. She believed if she promised to be a real wife, to finally give herself to me, I'd come running back. After all, she knew better than anyone how deeply I used to love her. So she started, I promise from now on. I cut her off, my voice ice cold. I looked at the desperate, almost pathetic expression on her face. Chloe, do you honestly think this is just about sex? She froze. Let me make this crystal clear. I continued, no warmth in my voice at all. I wanted you before because I loved you. But I don't love you anymore. Those 4 words hit her like a punch to the gut. Her fists clenched at her sides. That's impossible, she choked. You can't not love me. She knew how much I had adored her. I was the guy who stayed up all night cooking her favorite soup from scratch. The guy who spent months carving her birthday gift by hand. How could that kind of love just vanish? Ethan, stop lying, she begged. If you don't love me, why did you risk your life to save me? Even now, she thought this was just me reacting to her mistreatment, throwing some childish fit of pique. She figured if she apologized properly, I'd fold. All she got was a cold laugh. Yes, I saved you, I said flatly. But that was just to settle a debt. Her expression went stiff. You saved me when I was kidnapped all those years ago. I continued, my voice sharp as ice. So I figured a life for a life. We'd be even. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. Except I found out that kidnapping was a complete setup. I never owed you anything in the first place. The blood drained from her face. Wait, Ethan. You know I know everything. I cut in. I know you married me for your family. I know you were planning to divorce me from the start. Humiliate me as revenge for taking what you thought was Julian's rightful place. I gave her a humorless smile. But Chloe, tell me something. Was it my fault I got lost as a kid? Did I ask to be found by the Millers? Did I get a say in our engagement? None of it had anything to do with me. From day one, every single thing was decided for me. A role shoved onto me whether I liked it or not. So why am I the one catching all the blame? I looked straight into her eyes and finally asked the question that had haunted me for years. Chloe, what did I ever do wrong? Staring at my cold, merciless face, Chloe felt her heart crack into a million pieces. No, Ethan, listen. She opened her mouth to explain, but nothing came out. I couldn't even look at her anymore. I know before I showed up, you, Julian, and my biological parents had your perfect little life, I said flatly, no anger, no resentment. My arrival ruined everything for you. So now I'm leaving. Everything can go back to how it was. Isn't that what you all wanted? With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. Ethan, Chloe cried, wanting to chase me, but her feet felt glued to the ground, heavy as lead. Finally, her assistant couldn't take it. Ms. Hayes, why don't you tell him the real story? Chloe asked blankly. What real story? The truth about the kidnapping, the assistant urged. You planned the fake one, yes. But you were seriously injured saving him from the real one. Very few people knew the full truth. Even Chloe's closest friends thought she orchestrated the whole thing. But it was messier than that. Chloe had planned a fake kidnapping. But a real gang intercepted the plan. They took out her hired actors and kidnapped both Julian and me for real. So when my parents chose Julian and left me behind, my life was actually on the line. Those men were killers, and they fully intended to get rid of me. It was Chloe who, after learning the truth, stormed their hideout alone. She was stabbed 3 times and almost died dragging me out of there. The memory made her dizzy. For years she had asked herself why she did it. Why risk everything to save me? She always told herself it was because the mess was her fault. If I died, the guilt would have destroyed her and ruined both our families. But deep down, she knew that wasn't the real reason. In that moment, she wasn't thinking at all. There was only one overpowering instinct. She couldn't let me die. For a split second, she wondered if maybe, even back then, she had already fallen for me. And now, finally, she was ready to admit it. She loved me. When I first came back, she resented me for suddenly appearing, for taking Julian's place, for becoming her fiancé out of nowhere. She agreed to the marriage because her parents pressured her. Her original plan was simple: marry me, then divorce me a year or 2 later. Keep her family satisfied while getting revenge for Julian. But somewhere along the way, everything changed. Was it when she faked affection and saw me blush while shyly thanking her? Was it the first time she kissed me? She thought she was playing me. Somehow, she ended up playing herself. That's why she panicked more than anyone when she heard I was in real danger. That's why on our wedding day, she was secretly happier than anyone. And that's why, for 3 years, even when she had the power and freedom to divorce me whenever she wanted, she never did. The truth? She had loved me for a long time. She just couldn't admit it. Because on our wedding day, Julian tried to kill himself. She rushed to him, and through tears, he begged her to promise she would never be a real wife to me. Looking at the man she thought she was supposed to love, she made that promise. And Chloe always kept her word. So even though she wanted me, even though she ached for me, she kept that promise. She pushed me away, treated me coldly, all to stop herself from breaking that vow. And in doing that, she destroyed us. At the realization, a metallic taste filled her mouth. A violent cough shook her body. She collapsed, spitting blood onto the pavement. Ms. Hayes. Chloe was rushed to the hospital. The test results were shocking.